Life in the Soviet Union during World War II by Spencer, Aaron, and Nick. This is how life was when it came to jobs. During World War II, the only jobs that were allowed were relating to the war and helping them. Agriculture and food for the soldiers, and then people worked in factories to produce weapons. And the women usually ended up being nurses for the war, but some actually fought. Soviet women in World War II had to adapt to the war by becoming soldiers in the armed forces. World War II impacted the lives of the women by making them do things they were uncomfortable with doing. The women had to sacrifice their lives for the country in the armed forces and fight for the war.
The societal changes for the Soviet Union were that women and children worked their first real jobs, because most women stayed home, washed clothes, or would make food. Now they're building German defenses against the Germans. The food for the Soviets was sparse. There was very little for the people who weren't in the war. Usually 1 to 5 women would work on the farms and agricultural production. This was vital to the Soviets' victory with the Allies, because most of the war's food production was so little.
Recycling during World War II. Recycling during World War II, people had to make small farms that barely supplied food, and people had to use trash to keep them warm because of the battle in Stalingrad destroyed most of the city. Rationing during World War II. Food supply in World War II was short for civilians. Civilians were only allowed 1.6 pounds of bread a day and 4.85 pounds of meat a month. Sometimes people were even forced to eat their pets.